Hello, everyone. Let's talk about The Masked Singer. I want to talk about the first episode, okay? So, I really like to look at shows and just take a deep dive. And these shows might not be shows that are, popular or whatever, but I just like what I like. So, today we're talking about the hosts, the judges, the characters, and the clues that we were given in the show. Please feel free to share in the comments what you think about the show, what you think about the hosts, what you think about the judges, the characters, and the performances. If you would like to watch along with me, The Masked Singer is on Tubi right now, and that's where I'm watching it. Okay, so hello, my name is Chantalee, and welcome to Movies and TV with the Stars, where we talk about movies, TV, and learn more about celebrities with astrology. Let's get right into today's episode. So, The Masked Singer is a top secret singing competition in which celebrities face off against each other and appear in elaborate costumes with full face masks to conceal their identities. That's according to, I think I got this from IMDb. Okay. So The Masked Singer is based on King of the Mask by Munwa Broadcasting Corporation. I started watching a few clips of the original show on YouTube, and I'm going to keep watching these clips as I review The Masked Singer so I can kind of compare and contrast at the end. So, the host is Nick Cannon, and Nicholas Scott Cannon is an American television host, rapper, actor, and comedian. In television, Cannon began as a teenager on All That before going on to host The Nick Cannon Show, Wildin' Out, America's Got Talent, Lip Sync Battle Shorties, and The Masked Singer. And this is according to Wikipedia. So I think Nick Cannon is a really good host, and I think he's entertaining. But his mindset when it comes to creating children and some comments he's made about women are complete trash to me. So, I've also started listening to his music since I started this review, and it further confirms his trash mindset, and that's just my 2 cents. Moving on, the first judge they introduced is Robin Thicke. So Robin Allen Thicke is a comedian, is a Canadian, not not a comedian, is a Canadian American singer, songwriter, and record producer. He is also known for his 2013 single Blurred Lines, which is one of the best-selling singles of all time. At the 56th Annual Grammy Awards, he received nominations for Record of the Year, Best Pop Duo Group Perform, and Best Pop Duo Group Performance. And this is according to Wikipedia. So a lot of people know him from the song he did with Pharrell called Blurred Lines. I also like When I Get You Alone. That's the first song the first video I saw him in when he was like riding down the street on his bike with his long hair. I remember that song. He was really more hippie-ish kind of then to me. And then Lost Without You was another one of his songs I really like because it's really smooth. So, now when they introduced Robin Thicke, I started to see the connection between the Real Husbands of Hollywood TV show and The Masked Singer. Nick Cannon was on The Real Husbands of Hollywood. So was Robin Thicke. JB Smoove is a guest host later on in the season, and he was also on The Real Husbands of Hollywood. And the winner of the second season of The Masked Singer, Wayne Brady, was on The Real Husbands of Hollywood. Wayne Brady also sang on this show, and he did a Sammy Davis Jr. impression with Tommy Davidson on The Real Husbands of Hollywood. So it was kind of weird when Robin Thicke didn't know who he was for so long. He caught on, after a while, but it just seemed like he would have caught on a lot quicker because they worked together before. But they say that it's harder once you're actually a judge. So I guess there's that. But, anyway. I think sometimes they guess the wrong person on purpose to kind of throw people off, or I don't know. But sometimes some of those guests was like, come on now. I know that's not that person. Okay, so the next host they introduced was Jenny McCarthy. Jennifer McCarthy Wahlberg is an American actress, model, activist, television personality, and author. She began her career in 1993 as a nude model for Playboy magazine and was later named their Playmate of the Year, according to Wikipedia. I think that was weird that they kind of summed her career up just with Playboy. But so I also wanted to say some of the other things that she did. She hosts her own podcast, which is successful. She was one of the hosts of Singled Out on MTV. And she was a co-host on The View. And you can check her IMDb. She has so many movies that she's done. And there's even more things that she's done. So just to kind of minimize her overall career to Playboy was really weird to me. But when Jenny McCarthy came out, I loved that she was a model. Like, she was really pretty, and she was also not afraid to be funny. She wasn't afraid to be goofy. Now, I liked Jenny McCarthy when she first came out. And when I first saw her, it was probably 90, 95, 96. And I think I was, when it was on Singled Out, I think I had to been like maybe 11 or 12, something like that. And so the humor, it was funny to me. It was different. It was funny. But I look back at some of her work back around that time, and I'm like, wow. She's evolved and I've evolved a lot, because a lot of stuff was like disgusting and not funny to me at all at my age right now. So, but I did like her when she first came out. The third judge they introduced was Ken Jeong. And Kendrick Kang Jo Jung, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, is an American stand-up comedian, actor, producer, writer, and licensed physician. He rose to prominence for playing Leslie Chow in the Hangover film series and Ben Chang in the NBC series Community, according to Wikipedia. So there's something about him that is so refreshing in this show. He's really one of the strongest draws to the show for me. Sometimes these shows can seem fake and extra scripted, but he makes it look like he's really enjoying what he's doing. Plus, he's funny on everything that I see him in. The last judge they introduced was Nicole Scherzinger. Nicole Scherzinger is an American singer, songwriter, dancer, actress, and television personality. Born in Honolulu, Hawaii, and raised in Louisville, Kentucky, she began acting at the age of 14 and studied musical theater at Wright State University. Now, I think Nicole is very talented and knowledgeable about her industry and various genres. So I see why she judges so many of these talent shows. I haven't really heard any of her newer music. The last song she did that I loved was with Todrick Hall, and it was called Poppy. And that song was stuck in my head for so long. Todrick Hall wrote a play called Straight Out of Oz. And it's like his take on The Wiz, his take on The Wizard of Oz. And the song that she did is the scene where Dorothy and her friends are um seduced by the poppy seeds, by the poppy the poppy energy. So that song is like a recreation of that, like being seduced by something isn't really right for you. um but you want to, um what is the word, you want what you want, but it might come at a cost of you doing something that is not in alignment with who you really are. And so that's one of the reasons why I like this song. But just her voice and him together, and then on the video they're dancing together. It's really good. So anyway, moving right along. The contestants in this episode are peacock, hippo, monster, unicorn, deer, and lion. The first character out was the peacock. The clue that stood out to me from the peacock was he was 5 when he started. It was all the cars that he kept showing, and all the Vegas themes and everything. He said he was addicted to the spotlight and that he was childhood friends with Michael Jackson. When he said that, that really kind of narrowed a lot of things down for me, and I kind of knew who it was. But he also said it's probably been a while since your mother had me up on her bedroom wall. So it kind of shows that he was like a teenage heartthrob in some way. Peacock sings "This is the Greatest Show" from The Greatest Showman, which is a huge clue because he really is one of the greatest showmen, as you can see during this season. Jenny McCarthy thinks the peacock could literally be Hugh Jackman. She makes a lot of interesting choices and guesses. Robin Thicke guesses the peacock is Jimmy Kimmel or Zac Efron. I have no idea why he would think it was Jimmy Kimmel, other than I know he grew up, he was born there, but really? Anyway, Ken guesses the peacock is Teller of Penn and Teller, but we already know it's Donny Osmond. The next character introduced is the hippo. And the hippo's clues are he's used to performing in arenas. He performs in a mask. He says breakfast is the most important meal of the day for a competitor like him. He also likes to dance, even though it gets him in trouble sometimes. Now, if that don't say football, the performing in the mask and dancing can get you in trouble. I don't know why they would go back to the judges were like maybe a basketball player. Like, basketball players don't perform in masks, guys. Come on. Anyway, the hippo sings "My Prerogative." And Robin Thicke guesses the hippo could be Odell Beckham Jr. Ken guesses the hippo could be Deion Sanders. Nicole guesses the hippo could be Allen Iverson, but we already know that the hippo is Antonio Brown. So who won between the peacock and the hippo? The peacock won that round, which almost wasn't fair, putting Donny Osmond against an athlete, but it's the weeding out process, I guess. So next up was the monster. The monster's clues are that the world labeled him a monster. He made mistakes. The game turned on him. He took a break from the public eye. Now, I already knew that the monster was T-Pain before I started watching, because of it was in the news and everything. But if I would have watched and like the whole thing through, I would never have guessed that this was T-Pain. So I'm glad that he got to showcase his voice, just as he wanted to, not, trying to make numbers or things like that, just focusing on his voice and what he wanted to do. So Monster sings Don't Stop Me Now by Queen. I think this song shows T-Pain's fun side. I always thought T-Pain was funny, especially when I saw him in Lottery Ticket. There's a video on YouTube with him doing a rap battle with Chocolate Dropper. That's Kevin Hart's alter ego. And it's really funny. And I'm so happy when he came out with his podcast. It's really entertaining. And he actually married a bartender. And she makes customized drinks for his guests. And side note, those drinks that she makes for his guests look so good. It's the whole thing is just really cute. And the name of the podcast is Nappy Boy Radio with T-Pain. So Jenny McCarthy guesses the monster could be Puff Daddy. Robin can't figure it out. Nicole guesses it could be Gucci Man or Gucci Mane is what you're supposed to say. And Ken guesses it could be Justin Bieber. But we know that the monster is T-Pain. The next character out is the unicorn. The unicorn's clues are she grew up in Beverly Hills, so that's the clue that she used to be on Beverly Hills 90210. All of her life, people told her she wasn't enough. And I remember hearing all the jokes about Tori Spelling. Okay, so the unicorn is Tori Spelling. But I remember hearing a lot of jokes about Tori Spelling not being talented or not being pretty. Coming up. What makes things worse is her biggest critic is her mother. Also, when you have famous family members, people put their expectations of who they think you should be on you. And they also hate you almost because you were born with fame and money. And they think it's their right to bring you down a notch. So, any kind of flaw, anything that they see that they can bring you down with, they will so they can feel better. And I saw that a lot with Tori Spelling. The unicorn sings Fight Song, which really fits her story because she's fighting her inner critic and the perceptions of the world being on this show. Robin guesses that the unicorn could be Lindsay Lohan. Jenny guesses it could be Ireland Baldwin or Paris Hilton. But we know that the unicorn is Tori Spelling. Who won between Monster and the unicorn? The unicorn won, which made no sense to me. No sense at all, but it is what it is. The next character out is the deer. The deer's clues are he picked the deer because they are competitive. And what's interesting to me is in Vedic astrology, there's a nakshatra called Mrigashira that is represented by the deer. The nakshatra is also ruled by Mars, and Mars is the planet that represents competition, strength, energy, power, fighters, and warriors. This was so interesting to me that I started looking at his chart, and Mars does play a major role in his life and career. If you're interested in learning more about Terry Bradshaw through his Vedic astrology chart, let me know in the comments. Moving on, he also says he's been knocked down a few times, but he also gets back up. He also says, Ravens beware. And I'm not a football person, but I'm guessing that Ravens are the competitors or football enemies or what have you of the Steelers, because I believe Terry Bradshaw played for the Steelers. So the deer sings thunder. I love that song too. I knew who it was when I heard him sing because my father loves football. So I remember the voice because it's like weeding things out. You could tell he was so big and strong. You could tell he was older. And I just knew that voice from, hearing him talk speak a lot, so I knew who it was. Robin guesses the deer is Stone Cold Steve Austin or Denver Bronco. Okay. Jenny thinks the deer could be Chuck Liddell. Nicole guesses that I don't know why she said that he could be a jockey. This is one of her guesses because jockeys are known for being very small and being very light so they won't be too heavy on the horses. She also guesses that it could be Peyton Manning, but we know that the deer is Terry Bradshaw. Next, we have out the lion, and the lion's clues are she is Hollywood royalty. That is stepping away from her pride because she wants to show who she is individually. The lion sings, "A little party never hurt nobody." And I knew that Rumor Wilson, this is who the lion is, was a good dancer because I think she was on So You Think You Can Dance. And I knew she was in some plays, but I didn't know her voice was so strong and powerful. And I think that the lion was a great choice for her. And calling her family a pride was also a really good choice because Demi Moore and Bruce Willis are known for their acting roles where they really exemplified confidence, strength, and leadership. So Jenny McCarthy thinks the lion is Lady Gaga. Like, really, Jenny? This is where she kind of, I don't understand her. And Robin thinks it could be someone from Fifth Harmony. Nicole thinks it's Scary Spice, but we know it's Rumor Willis. So who won the deer versus the lion? The lion won. She did really good. Okay, so the lion won between the deer versus the lion. And who was unmasked at the end of the night? It was the hippo. And we find out that the hippo is Antonio Brown from the Steelers. So, how did you feel about the first episode of The Masked Singer? What do you feel was the best part? What do you feel was the worst part? I love singing and dancing competition shows, but this one is so fun and exciting. It's something really new about it. Even though it came out a couple years ago. It's just fun and exciting. When I was watching the show, I was like, who is designing these costumes? So I found out and wanted to read the article from the Daily Mail UK, and then I'll let you go. They start with, it may be a celebrity guessing game, but the real stars of The Masked Singer are undoubtedly the incredible costumes. Designed by Oscar-winning costumer Tim Chappell, this season's masks are nothing short of spectacular, with characters such as Pavlova and Vampire captivating fans of all ages. Speaking of pop sugar, on Friday, Chappell revealed the extraordinary amount of work that goes into bringing his sketches to the stage. We start throwing around ideas directly after we finish the season. Chappell 53 said the design process, adding that things get serious 16 weeks before the show. Some costumes take 6 months from concept to actualization. Some little emergencies are born 2 weeks before the shoot, he explained. Chappell, whose film credits include Miss Congeniality and the Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, also revealed that many of his larger-than-life creations require special engineering to make sure they don't fall over. For example, the dolly mask was so tall it had a tendency to tip over, meaning the performer's costume had to be perfectly balanced before they went on stage. Chappell also admitted Volcano was the most difficult mask to create this season, explaining there were a lot of moving parts that needed to come together. as for what happens to the mask and set pieces once the show is over, Chappell said nothing goes to waste. All sets and costumes are kept and reused. The costumes are used for marketing or even loaned to international productions of the show, he explained. Chappell has designed all the costumes for The Masked Singer Australia since its first season in 2019. For this year's third season, he introduced a slew of mind-boggling new masks, including Professor Mullet, Atlantis, Baby, Kebab, Lightning, Duster, and Panita. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. So far, 3 celebrities have been unmasked. Footballer Vinny Jones as Volcano, Chef George as what is he now? Chef George Columbaris as Duster, and singer Ben Lee as Professor. That is what I have for you today. If you would like to keep up with my review of The Masked Singer, remember to like, share, and subscribe, and talk to you next time.